Chosen one. Listen carefully. Heaven has paused this very moment to bring you clarity. You keep asking yourself, why am I always so tired? Why does exhaustion follow me like a shadow, even when I rest? This is not ordinary tiredness. This is not simply about lack of sleep or too much work. What you are carrying is spiritual, not natural. You feel a weight that others do not understand. And that weight is the mark of one who has been set apart. You see, from the day you were born, you were different. You were not created to blend in. You were born with a mantle, a divine assignment, and the unseen world recognizes it. That is why, even in moments of peace, your spirit feels pressure. You are tired because the spiritual atmosphere around you constantly collides with the anointing you carry. You cannot put words to it, but you know deep down it is heavier than any physical task. Every sleepless night, every sigh you release in secret, every morning you wake up feeling like you did not rest. It is evidence that your spirit has been engaged in battles your mind cannot always recall. Some people sleep through the night with ease, but you wake up at 3 a.m. Not by coincidence, but because heaven is tugging on your soul. The weight you carry is a summons from the throne. Chosen one. The exhaustion you feel is not a punishment, but a divine invitation. You are sensitive to realms others cannot perceive. When the world around you stirs in chaos, you absorb vibrations that others ignore. This drains your flesh, yet it awakens your spirit. You have been entrusted with discernment that costs energy, because you were designed as a vessel of intercession. Even when you don't speak a word, your heart cries out on behalf of many. That silent warfare pulls at your strength, but it also crowns you with heavenly authority. Your tiredness is evidence that you are walking on holy ground. Every sigh, every moment of heaviness is like incense rising before God's throne. It proves that you are not aligned with the noise of this world, but with the heartbeat of eternity. Others may not understand why you feel this weight, but heaven sees it as worship. You are marked as one who carries burdens for nations, families, and generations, yet unborn. The fatigue is temporary, but the fruit is eternal. Do not mistake your exhaustion for failure. It is confirmation that destiny is burning inside you. The Spirit spoke through the Apostle Paul with unshakable clarity. Philippians chapter 4. Verse 13, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. You are weary because you were not made to depend on human strength. You are chosen to run on divine energy, to walk in supernatural endurance. When you lean on your own understanding, fatigue wraps itself around you like a chain. But when you lean on the one who chose you, even in your lowest moment, strength begins to rise again. Understand this. Your exhaustion is not weakness. It is proof of your assignment. Ordinary people do not feel the weight of extraordinary destiny. You are a carrier of light, and light always confronts darkness. Every room you enter shifts because your spirit disrupts the hidden works of the enemy. This disruption costs you energy, yes, but it also proves who you are. Do not despise this tiredness. Instead, see it as a holy signpost. It points to the truth that you are not wandering aimlessly, you are moving with purpose. The reason life feels heavier for you is because heaven has entrusted you with greater responsibility. Chosen one. Even in this moment, The Father whispers over you, "Do not quit. Do not give in to the fatigue. Do not believe the lie that you are too weak to continue. I am renewing you." Right now, as you hear these words, Joe, and here is the call I place before you now. If these words strike your spirit, if you know deep down this message was sent to you, then pause and respond. Show heaven you are awake. Show the world you are marked. Like this message. Share it so it reaches another weary warrior. And subscribe so you never miss the flow of divine truth being poured out. And at the end of this message, type the number 77 inches the comments, a prophetic act declaring, "My strength is being renewed. My weariness is not the end. I am chosen." You are not here by accident. You are here because heaven made sure this moment collided with your life. And from this moment forward, your tiredness will no longer be a mystery. It will be a reminder. You are chosen. You are marked. You are set apart. Chosen one. Hear this truth. One reason you feel such relentless exhaustion is because you carry battles that are not your own. Your spirit is wired with extraordinary sensitivity. You step into rooms and immediately feel the atmosphere shift. You meet people, and without them speaking a word, you sense the heaviness they carry. You leave the encounter drained, because you unknowingly fight wars on their behalf. While others are blind to spiritual weight, you absorb it like a sponge. This is not weakness. It is evidence of the mantle God has placed upon your life. You are what many call an intercessor, but you are more than just one who prays. You are a carrier of unseen burdens, a vessel who bears the hidden groans of humanity. You wake up feeling like you fought a war in your sleep because, in truth, you did. While the world slumbers, your spirit labors. Sometimes this role feels unfair. You wonder why you are the one always feeling the pressure, the one always crying tears you cannot explain, the one always holding people's stories inside your chest. But this is precisely why you are chosen. Your empathy is not ordinary, it is spiritual. You don't just hear words, you feel souls. That gift is holy, but it costs energy. It drains your flesh because your spirit was designed to intercede between heaven and earth. The Spirit spoke through the Apostle Paul in Galatians chapter 6, verse 2, "Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ." This is the reason you feel a weight that others ignore. You live Galatians 6 in your very body. Every sigh you release, every heaviness you cannot explain, every prayer whispered in the dark is part of fulfilling this divine law. And while others may mock your sensitivity or call it weakness, heaven calls it obedience. Still, the Father does not want you crushed by this gift. You must learn to surrender these burdens back to Him. Too often, you carry what you sense in your spirit without releasing it at His feet. And when you hold on to it too long, exhaustion becomes overwhelming. The gift of empathy is not meant to drown you. It is meant to guide you into intercession and release. Chosen one. Think of how many lives you have preserved by simply existing as you are. You may never know the full number. You may never see the faces of those you prayed for, those you shielded, those you protected by simply feeling their burden and whispering their name to heaven. But God knows. He records every sigh, every groan, every prayer. Not one tear of yours has been wasted. You must remind yourself daily, this heaviness is not yours to keep. When you sense someone's pain, pray and release it. When you feel sorrow that is not your own, hand it back to the one who carries all sorrow. When you are heavy with grief you cannot name, surrender it at the altar, because if you try to hold what heaven never asked you to keep, your soul will collapse under the weight. The reason you are tired all the time is because you have not yet learned the rhythm of release. Burden-bearing without surrender leads to burnout, but burden-bearing with surrender leads to breakthrough. God is teaching you balance. He is showing you how to intercede without losing yourself, how to carry without crumbling, how to love without being crushed. Do not let your sensitivity become your destruction. Instead, let it become your strength. Every time you feel drained, pause and ask, is this mine? Or is this something heaven has allowed me to sense so I can intercede? If it is yours, bring it before the Father and let Him strengthen you. If it is not yours, pray boldly and then let it go. Your calling is not to carry everyone's pain forever, but to stand in the gap until heaven intervenes. That is why the fatigue you feel is not punishment, it is training. God is teaching you to discern what is yours to carry and what is His to take. Beloved chosen one, though you may feel worn down, remember this: you are not alone in these unseen battles. The same God who entrusted you with empathy is the same God who promises to refresh your soul. He will not let you drown in the burdens of others. He will remind you that His yoke is easy, His burden is light. So take courage. Your tiredness does not mean you are weak. It means you are carrying sacred proof that you are chosen to be a bridge between pain and healing, between sorrow and joy, between despair and hope. And though your flesh may be weary, your spirit is stronger than ever, because heaven has marked you as one who carries battles others cannot even see. Chosen one, you often wonder why life feels like a constant uphill climb, why the atmosphere seems to shift when you walk into a room, why people you have never wronged suddenly show hostility toward you, why your presence feels like a magnet for conflict. The answer is simple, yet profound. Your light attracts warfare. You carry something that darkness cannot tolerate. Every demon, every hidden spirit of confusion, every whisper of despair recognizes what you carry before people even see it. They sense the light of Christ radiating through you, and that light threatens their grip on the world around them. You are tired because you live as a target. The fatigue is not only physical, it is the strain of carrying divine fire in a world saturated with shadows. Many people do not understand this battle. They think your exhaustion is because you overthink, or because you isolate yourself too much. But the reality runs deeper. When your spirit enters a space, hidden forces that have long rested comfortably are suddenly agitated. You disturb the darkness without speaking a word, and this invisible resistance presses down on your body, leaving you drained. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. This truth is your anchor. You are not meant to fight every battle in your own strength. Yes, warfare surrounds you because of your light. But you are not alone. The Lord Himself stands as your defender. Your exhaustion often comes from trying to fight battles He has already promised to win. Still, this constant conflict explains much of your weariness. You are not like those who can live casually, unaffected by what lies beneath the surface. You were chosen to confront darkness simply by existing. This is why relationships feel heavy, workplaces feel draining, and even family gatherings sometimes leave you with no energy. Your spirit disrupts what others have learned to tolerate. But hear this, your light is not a curse, it is a weapon. The fatigue you feel is the evidence that your presence shifts atmospheres. Do not resent the struggle, because it confirms your identity. The tiredness you carry is not weakness, it is proof that you are a warrior chosen by God. Still, you must learn strategy. Warriors do not charge into every battle. They learn when to stand still and let heaven move. That is the wisdom God is teaching you. Fatigue does not mean you have failed. It means you need alignment. When you let Him fight for you, your strength will be preserved. Chosen one. Think about how many times you have walked away from a conversation and felt drained without knowing why. It was because your spirit was wrestling with lies, arguments, and forces that opposed truth. Think of the people who suddenly dislike you without reason. It is not you they resist, but the light within you. Think of the dreams where you fought shadows through the night that was not imagination, but warfare in the unseen. You feel tired because you are not just living in the natural. You walk between realms. You are a bridge between the kingdom of heaven and the earth. And that calling places you in direct opposition to the kingdom of darkness. But the Lord would have you remember, no attack against you is permanent. No weapon forged in secret can overcome the one who carries His presence. The warfare around you proves your authority. The pressure against you proves your power. The tiredness in your flesh proves that your spirit is engaged in something far greater than you see. Now, here is what I ask you to do. Write these words below as a declaration. I stand firm. Just 3 words. But they carry weight. When you type them out, you are not just leaving a comment. You are making a prophetic stand. You are declaring to the heavens and to the unseen realm that you will not bend. You will not run. And you will not surrender to the pressure. You may feel tired, but you are still standing. And as you declare this, remember why you are weary. Not because you are weak, but because you are chosen. Not because you are broken, but because you carry light. Not because you have failed, but because you are marked for victory. You will continue to feel the heat of warfare, but you will also see the hand of God covering you. Every battle that surrounds you will turn into testimony. Every pressure will become proof of promise, and every ounce of exhaustion will one day be replaced by strength that does not run dry. So take heart. Chosen one. The fatigue is real, but so is your calling. Your light is costly, yes, but it is unquenchable. And the very warfare that tries to wear you out will become the very stage upon which God proves His glory through you. Chosen one. There is another mystery to your exhaustion that you must understand. Your sleepless nights have a divine purpose. Many times you have tossed and turned, staring at the ceiling, wondering why your mind cannot rest. You check the clock, and it reads 2 a.m., then 3 a.m., then 4 a.m. It frustrates you, because you know your body needs sleep. Yet something in your spirit refuses to settle. This is not random. This is not insomnia without reason. This is heaven's summons. You see, while others sleep in comfort, God awakens His chosen ones to stand in the gap. The quiet hours of the night are not ordinary, they are sacred. The noise of the world dies down, distractions fade, and the atmosphere clears. It is in these hours that the Spirit whispers, with greatest clarity, You are awake because heaven wants to meet you in silence. At first, this calling may feel like a burden. You might resent the tiredness that follows you into the next day. But understand, God is entrusting you with secrets not meant for the daylight. He is showing you visions, giving you burdens to pray over, sharpening your discernment. You are not restless, you are being trained. The prophet Daniel was visited at night with visions of kingdoms rising and falling. Samuel, still a boy, heard God's voice call his name as he lay in his bed. Jacob wrestled with an angel until daybreak and walked away, transformed. These were not comfortable nights. They were divine interruptions. And you, too, are being awakened for such holy encounters. The ancient words recorded in the book of Psalms, chapter 63, verse 6 declare, "On my bed I remember you. I think of you through the watches of the night." Chosen one, your sleepless nights are not wasted. They are altars in the darkness. When you are restless, your spirit is active. Sometimes you intercede for people you do not even know. Sometimes you sense a shift in the spiritual realm that demands your awareness. And other times, God simply longs for your company in the stillness. Yes, it is costly. Your body pays the price. You walk into the next day with heavy eyelids and a weary frame. But remember, heaven is downloading into you what others sleep through. You are being marked with insight, wisdom, and vision. This is why you feel different from those around you. While they rest, you war. While they dream of earthly things, you dream of eternal realities. Do not despise this calling. Instead, learn to lean into it. When you find yourself wide awake in the night, instead of frustration, whisper, speak, "Lord, for your servant is listening." Those words open the gate for revelation. Those moments become holy ground. Instead of tossing and turning, you will begin to realize that the sleeplessness is not an enemy, but an invitation. Beloved, there will be nights when your spirit wrestles with battles you cannot name. Do not fear them. There will be nights when you weep without knowing why. Do not resist them. There will be nights when words of prophecy rise from your lips, though no one else is there to hear them. Do not silence them. These are sacred transactions in the night watches. You are chosen because you can endure what others cannot. Many crave revelation, but few are willing to pay the cost. You, however, are trusted with it because your spirit is tuned to heaven's frequency. This is why your nights are long and your mornings are weary. You are receiving in the dark what will sustain you in the light. Think of this: your sleeplessness is a seed. Every hour awake, every whispered prayer, every silent tear is being sown into eternity. And one day, you will see the harvest. Lives will be transformed. Chains will be broken. Destinies will be rewritten, all because you obeyed the summons of the night. So do not let frustration steal your joy. The exhaustion you feel is temporary, but the glory being forged in you is eternal. Each restless night is a testimony that you are not ordinary. You are marked. You are set apart. You are called to carry mysteries of the kingdom that only come in the silence of the night. And though your flesh may groan, your spirit rejoices, for even in your tiredness, heaven is moving. Even in your weariness, heaven is speaking. Even in your sleepless nights, you are being shaped into the vessel God designed you to be. Chosen one. Another reason you feel this deep exhaustion is because isolation has wrapped itself around your journey. You may not admit it out loud, but in the silence of your heart, you know the weight of loneliness. Even surrounded by people, you feel set apart. The conversations that once satisfied you now feel shallow. The friendships that once felt natural now feel distant. And though you long for connection, you cannot force yourself to blend in anymore. This separation is not punishment, it is preparation. Think of a tree planted in a wide field. When the winds blow, every smaller plant bends and sways together, drawing comfort from one another. But the tree that stands taller, rooted deeper, feels the full force of the storm alone. It creaks, it groans, its branches tremble, but it does not fall. That is you. Beloved, you are not weak, you are strong enough to endure isolation. God has planted you in a place where the winds hit hardest because your roots are meant to dig deeper than most. Still, the weight of loneliness depletes you. You look around and feel unseen. You watch others laugh freely, live simply, and you wonder why your life feels so heavy. But this separation is a divine act. Heaven is guarding your destiny by keeping you apart from distractions that would dilute your calling. The loneliness you feel is proof that you do not belong to the crowd, you belong to the throne. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 19, if you belonged to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. That is why the world hates you. But here is the hard truth. Isolation is tiring. Your soul craves companionship. Your heart longs for understanding. And when it does not come, your body grows weary. You wonder if something is wrong with you. Let me remind you, nothing is wrong with you. Everything is right with you. That is why the world cannot hold you. Think of gold refined in fire. When it is first placed in the furnace, impurities rise to the surface. The process is painful, the heat intense, but the result is purity. That is your isolation. The fire burns. The silence weighs on you, but you are being refined for glory. Chosen one. In this season of heaviness, I invite you to stay connected in another way. If these words are watering your spirit, then extend the flow. Like this message as a sign that you are still standing, share it, as though you are handing a cup of water to another weary traveler. Subscribe, not for my sake, but so that you never miss the nourishment heaven sends through these words. And if your heart stirs to give, to sow into this flow, then do it with the same spirit that plants a seed into fertile soil. Every seed, whether a click, a share, or a gift, becomes like a lantern, lighting the path for others who feel as weary as you. Understand this. Generosity is not about transaction, it is about participation. When you share, when you support, when you sow, you are not just receiving light for yourself, you are holding the torch higher so others can see their way. Imagine a night traveler stumbling in darkness. Your simple act of lifting the lantern could save them from falling. That is what your support does. It turns this isolated cry into a chorus that reaches thousands of other chosen ones. Your loneliness is real, but you are never alone. Every time you engage with this word, you are joining hands with others across the world who feel the same weight. You may not see their faces, but you are part of a hidden family rising together. And the more you lift your light, the more visible that family becomes. So do not let isolation break you. Let it shape you. Do not let the silence discourage you. Let it strengthen your hearing for heaven's whisper. Do not let the weariness define you. Let it remind you that you are chosen, not common. You are called, not casual. You are refined, not rejected. And when the tiredness presses in, when the nights feel endless, remember the tree in the field, the gold in the fire, the traveler with the lantern. These pictures are reminders that your story is not wasted. Every heavy step you take is forming you into a vessel of unshakable endurance. Beloved, chosen one, the world may never understand the cost of your calling, but heaven sees every tear, every sigh, every lonely night. And one day, you will look back and realize that the isolation that almost broke you was actually the cocoon that transformed you. Chosen one. There is another hidden reason for your weariness. It is not only the battles you fight, not only the isolation you endure, but also the flood of revelation that pours into your spirit. You carry a mind that rarely rests, because heaven speaks to you in constant downloads, insights, visions, dreams, sudden understanding. They strike your heart when you least expect them. At times you feel as if your spirit is too full, too stretched, and your body struggles to keep up. This is the price of revelation. Others may live lightly, unbothered by spiritual truth, but you are burdened by what you see and know. You perceive deception where others see charm. You discern danger where others see opportunity. You carry answers while others carry only questions. And though this is a divine gift, it weighs heavily on your flesh. Think of a vessel under a waterfall. The constant flow is powerful, life-giving, and pure. But the container strains under the endless pressure. That is you, chosen one. Revelation is like a flood that never stops. The cost is your energy. The weight is your strength. You find yourself awake at night, writing, praying, or processing thoughts that seem too heavy for your mind alone. This is not because you are restless. It is because heaven trusts you with mysteries. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 33. Verse 3. Call to me and I will answer you, and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know. And so you do call, and he does answer. But the unsearchable things you carry are not light. They cut into your sleep. They stretch your emotions. They set you apart. Many times you have tried to explain what you sense, only to be met with blank stares or dismissive laughter. That rejection hurts, but it also reminds you that what you carry is not common. Beloved, your exhaustion is not simply tiredness. It is the physical echo of spiritual downloads. You live as a bridge between heaven and earth, and every message that flows through you takes something from your body. That is why, even after hours of rest, you sometimes wake up tired. Your flesh cannot always contain the weight of what your spirit receives. But listen closely. God does not give without sustaining. He knows the cost of what you carry. Every revelation that drains you is also meant to build you. Every vision that feels too heavy is shaping your capacity. Your body may feel weak, but your spirit is expanding. You are being stretched so that you can hold more. Still, you must learn discipline. You cannot carry every word alone. Revelation is not just for you to bear, it is for you to release. Write what you see. Speak when you are led. Pray with boldness. When you share what God gives you, You lighten the weight. Too often you hold it inside. And that is why you feel so tired. Let the words flow out. Let the visions breathe. They are not meant to stay locked within you. Chosen one. Think of yourself like a scribe in the king's court. The king dictates secrets, and you record them faithfully. Your role is not to hoard the words, but to release them at the appointed time. And though your hand may cramp and your body may ache, the scroll you write carries life for generations. That is the beauty of your calling. Now, here is what I ask you to do. Write the number 222 below, not as superstition, but as a prophetic act. 2 is the number of confirmation and agreement. By typing 222, you declare, I come into agreement with the revelations heaven entrusts to me. I will not be crushed by them. I will release them. I will let what God pours into me flow out to bless others. This act may seem simple, but it is a mark of surrender and alignment. Do not fear the heaviness of what you carry. Do not despise the sleepless nights or the racing thoughts. They are not signs of madness. They are signs of destiny. You are chosen to see what others cannot. You are called to hear what others ignore. You are appointed to speak what others fear. That is why the downloads come relentlessly. It is because you are trusted. Yes, you may feel weary. Yes, your body may ache under the weight. But one day, you will look back and realize that every revelation was a stepping stone. Every sleepless night was a training ground. Every overwhelming vision was a seed planted for a harvest beyond your imagination. So take heart, beloved chosen one. Your tiredness is not the end of you. It is proof of what flows through you. You may feel like a vessel under a waterfall. But remember this, rivers never flow where there is no life. Heaven only pours into those it intends to use. You are not being drowned. You are being filled. And in time, every drop you carry will overflow into the lives of others, bringing light where there was darkness and hope where there was despair. Chosen one. Another reason you are often weary is because of the invisible burden of empathy you carry. Many people walk through life unaware of the struggles of others. They can ignore pain when it is not their own. They can laugh while others cry. They can look away from suffering without flinching. But you are different. You cannot look at brokenness without feeling it in your chest. You cannot see someone's tears without sensing the weight behind them. You cannot walk past despair without carrying some of it away with you. This deep empathy is not natural, it is spiritual. It is a gift that God has woven into your soul. It allows you to perceive what lies beneath the surface. You feel sorrows that are unspoken. You sense battles that people do not admit. You hear the cries no one else notices. This gift makes you a healer, but it also makes you weary. Because when you carry pain that does not belong to you, it pulls at your strength. Think of your heart as a vessel of light. When you step into a room full of shadows, your vessel automatically absorbs the darkness. It is not a choice, it is who you are. Your compassion cannot switch off. And so you carry burdens silently. This is why you sometimes feel heavy without reason. It is not your sadness, but the sadness of others resting upon you. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Romans, chapter 12, verse 15, "Rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn." You live this scripture daily. Your spirit rejoices easily with joy, but it also mourns deeply with sorrow. And though this makes you a reflection of Christ's heart, it also drains your body. You wake up tired because you went to bed, carrying someone else's grief. You walk through your day feeling weary because your soul is holding more than your own story. Beloved, this burden of empathy is holy, but it must be handled wisely. You were never meant to keep the sorrows you feel. You were meant to carry them into the presence of God. Too often, you hold on to the emotions you sense. You replay conversations in your head. You imagine outcomes. You weep silently without releasing it upward. This is why the weight grows heavier. Empathy without surrender becomes exhaustion. Empathy with surrender becomes intercession. Do not despise your sensitivity. The world may call you too much, but heaven calls you perfectly tuned. This sensitivity allows you to catch whispers others miss. It allows you to feel danger before it arrives, to sense breakthroughs before they manifest, to comfort hearts without needing words. Yet this same gift can feel like a curse if you forget to release what you carry. Think of a river. If it flows freely, it nourishes the land. But if it is dammed up, it floods and destroys. Your empathy is like that river. If you let it flow back to God in prayer, it brings healing. But if you hold it in, it overwhelms you. Chosen one. Many of your tears are not your own. Many of your sighs do not belong to your life. They are echoes of those you encounter. They are burdens heaven allows you to sense so that you will lift them in prayer. You are an intercessor disguised as an ordinary person. Every time you feel someone's heaviness, you are standing in the gap on their behalf. Yet you must remember, you are not the Savior. You cannot heal everyone. You cannot carry the world's sorrow alone. Only Christ bore the weight of all humanity, and he did it once for all. Your role is not to bear endlessly, but to intercede faithfully. When you sense pain, release it in prayer. When you feel grief, pour it out in his presence. When you hold sorrow too long, whisper his name and let him take it. Beloved, the exhaustion you feel proves that your heart mirrors his. Jesus himself was moved with compassion, and that compassion drove him to heal the sick, feed the hungry, and raise the dead. You are walking in that same pattern, but you must learn his rhythm. He often withdrew to lonely places to pray, to release what he carried. You must do the same. Your empathy is a light in a world of cold hearts. Do not let the weight turn it into bitterness. Guard your tenderness as the treasure it is. Yes, it makes you weary at times. Yes, it feels like a silent burden. But it also proves your chosenness, for God could not entrust such sensitivity to just anyone. He placed it in you because he knew you would carry it with compassion, not pride. So when the heaviness presses down, pause. Remind yourself, this sorrow is not mine to keep. Let it become a prayer. Let it become worship. Let it become incense rising before the throne. And watch as your exhaustion turns into fuel, your tears into seeds, your sighs into songs. Chosen one, there is a realm of your weariness that few around you will ever understand. It is the realm of dreams. For many people, sleep is a time of rest, of recovery, of unconscious escape. But for you, it is often another battlefield. You close your eyes longing for peace, yet your spirit enters into places of warfare. You dream of shadows chasing you, of storms rising against you, of battles that feel too vivid to be just dreams. And you wake up heavy, as though you fought all night. This is not imagination. This is spiritual reality. God has wired your spirit to remain active even as your body lies down. When others sleep without awareness, you enter visions and battles that touch eternity. What you see is not coincidence. It is heaven giving you glimpses of the unseen world. Sometimes you are warned of coming struggles. Sometimes you are shown strategies of prayer. Sometimes you intercede for people or situations you barely understand. But every time, your dreams carry weight. The prophet Joel spoke of this mystery, recorded in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 28. And afterward, I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams. Your young men will see visions. This word is alive in you. Dreams for you are not random. They are prophetic. They are a continuation of your calling. But the cost of carrying them is fatigue. Your body does not always find rest. Because your spirit is awake, you may wake up more tired than when you lay down. That exhaustion is not failure. It is evidence that you were engaged in something beyond the physical. Beloved, do not dismiss your dreams as meaningless. Pay attention. Record them. Pray through them. They are messages written on the canvas of your sleep. Some are warnings against traps set by the enemy. Some are encouragements reminding you of promises yet to be fulfilled. Some are intercessory battles where your spirit has stood in the gap for others while your body rested. And yes, this is why you often wake up weary. Think of your dreams like night watches on a battlefield. The soldiers who stand guard in the dark hours grow tired faster than those who rest. But their vigilance preserves the safety of the entire camp. That is you, chosen one, while others sleep soundly. You are keeping watch. Your soul wages war for the sake of those who cannot fight for themselves. Your fatigue is the scar of your vigilance. There will be nights when the dreams terrify you. You will wake up trembling, sweat on your brow, heart pounding. Do not let fear consume you. These dreams are not to torment you, but to equip you. God reveals them so that you will not be caught unaware. They are invitations to pray, to resist, to declare victory even before the morning comes. And there will also be nights when the dreams inspire you. You will see glimpses of your future, visions of what God is building in you, confirmations of promises long hidden in your heart. These dreams lift you, even as they drain you, because they remind you that you are not wandering. You are walking a path God Himself has drawn. Chosen one. Understand this. Not every dream you carry is meant to be spoken. Some are assignments, secrets between you and heaven. Others are for the edification of those around you. Wisdom will teach you when to speak and when to stay silent. Part of your exhaustion comes from trying to process them alone. Release them in prayer and let the Spirit interpret. This is why you must guard your resting hours. Do not enter sleep casually. Cover yourself in prayer. Surround your spirit with worship before you close your eyes. Your nights are not like everyone else's. They are altars, and every altar must be prepared. When you prepare your nights in the Spirit, you will find greater strength in the morning. Beloved, your weariness does not mean defeat. It means your spirit is awake in realms others cannot see. You are chosen to fight wars in dreams so that victories can manifest in the day. You may wake up tired, but you also wake up with authority. For every unseen battle you win in the night, the enemy loses ground in the morning. Sudu not despise your night visions. Do not curse your restless sleep. They are part of your mantle. They are marks of your calling. You are a dreamer in the spirit, a watchman in the night, a warrior even while you rest. And though the fatigue may weigh on you, know this: your dreams are proof that you are not ordinary. You are chosen. You are trusted. You are awakened by heaven itself. Chosen one. Another reason your soul feels constantly weary is because of rejection. It has followed you like a shadow since childhood. You tried to fit in, but you were always set apart. You loved deeply, but not everyone returned it. You gave freely, but many dismissed or betrayed you, and with every rejection, a piece of your heart carried invisible bruises. This bruising does not only hurt emotionally, it drains you spiritually. What you must understand is this: rejection is not always an enemy. Often, it is divine redirection. The people who turned away, the doors that closed, the groups that pushed you out, these were not coincidences. They were acts of separation. You feel tired not only because of what you lost, but because you never realized loss was actually protection. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 34, verse 18, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." This truth is a balm for you. Rejection crushes the spirit, but it also calls forth God's nearness. When others step back, He steps closer. When people misunderstand you, heaven surrounds you with understanding that transcends words. Yet, even knowing this, your body still carries the weariness of being constantly misunderstood. Think of a torch burning in the dark. The torch attracts moths that circle and flutter until their wings are singed. That is you. Your light draws many, but not all come with pure motives. Some approach to feed off your warmth. When they leave, you feel drained. When they despise what they do not understand, you feel wounded. That cycle of drawing, burning, and being left behind leaves you exhausted. But hear me clearly, their rejection does not diminish your value. It confirms it. You are not rejected because you lack worth. You are rejected because your worth is too great to be wasted in wrong places. Heaven removes what does not align with your destiny. Every no you received is evidence that you are being positioned for a greater yes. Beloved, I know it hurts. The loneliness, the misunderstandings, the constant feeling of being too much or not enough. In the eyes of others, it wears you down, but see it as pruning. A tree that bears fruit must be pruned, cut back, shaped. The pruning is painful, but it ensures that the fruit will come forth abundantly. Your rejection is not destruction, it is pruning. Still, this pruning feels like fatigue. You wonder why you always have to walk alone. Why the friendships you thought would last fell apart. Why the love you offered seemed too heavy for others to carry. It is because your destiny is too weighty to be tied to the wrong people. You are chosen, and chosenness requires separation. Now, here is what I ask you to do in this very moment. Write these words below. I choose peace. Just 3 words. But they carry power. When you declare them, you are choosing to release the sting of rejection. You are choosing not to carry bitterness, but to walk in freedom. You are choosing to let go of explanations you may never receive and to embrace the peace only God can give. This declaration is not for others. It is for your own soul. Your exhaustion will lessen when you stop rehearsing the rejections. You are not called to explain yourself endlessly. You are not meant to prove your worth. The very fact that you were set aside is proof of your sacredness. Stop mourning what walked away and start embracing what remains your identity in God. Unshaken and unbreakable. Think of clay in the hands of a potter. The clay does not understand why pressure is applied, why certain pieces are cut away, why it must spin endlessly on the wheel. But when the process ends, the vessel emerges strong, useful, and beautiful. That is you. Rejection is the potter's pressure, shaping you into the vessel you were always meant to be. Chosen one. Rejection is draining, but it is also refining. It clears your path of those who cannot carry your destiny with you. It pushes you closer to the one who never leaves. It teaches you to lean not on applause, but on assurance. And while the sting lingers, the truth is that your spirit will rise stronger from every dismissal. So, breathe. Release the weight. Let the exhaustion remind you not of what you lost, but of how far you have come. You are not abandoned, you are preserved. You are not forgotten, you are hidden. You are not worthless, you are priceless. And one day, every rejection will make sense, for it will be the very foundation upon which God reveals the full beauty of your calling. Chosen one. One of the most overlooked reasons for your exhaustion is this. Your body is often signaling spiritual misalignment. You may feel physically drained, but it is not always because of lack of sleep or overwork. Sometimes, weariness is the language your body uses to tell you that your soul is out of rhythm with your calling. Fatigue becomes a holy alarm, warning you that you are walking in places, relationships, or habits that do not match your divine assignment. Think of a musical instrument. When a guitar is out of tune, every string feels tension, and the sound it produces grates against the ear. It cannot play the song it was designed for until it is tuned again. That is you. When you are not aligned with heaven's rhythm, your body absorbs the strain. Your muscles ache. Your energy fades. And you wonder why life feels so heavy. It is not random, it is misalignment. The Word of God declares in the book of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 28, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Beloved, this rest Jesus speaks of is not just about sleep, it is about alignment. When your spirit rests in Him, your body follows. When your decisions flow with His will, energy rises. But when you resist, when you cling to things He has asked you to release, when you delay obedience, fatigue sets in like chains. You are tired not only because of battles, but because you sometimes carry yokes that were never yours. Friendships, jobs, habits, and commitments may seem harmless, but if they are outside your assignment, they drain you like a leak in a vessel, and heaven uses your body's exhaustion as a signal to realign. Chosen one. Pause and reflect. How many times have you felt drained in places where your spirit whispered, "You don't belong here"? How often have you given energy to people who repeatedly pull you away from purpose? How many times have you held on to habits that look small but keep your soul weighed down? These are not minor, they are misalignments, and they cost you strength. But here is the beauty. God does not expose misalignment to shame you. He exposes it to restore you. He wants you to live in fullness, notre constant déplétion. Like a river flowing freely when its banks are clear, your life regains power when you remove the blockages. This is why your engagement matters. When you like, when you share, when you subscribe, you are not just supporting a message, you are tuning your own spirit to remain in the flow of life-giving words. And when you donate, when you sow into this work, it is like planting seeds into fertile soil. Each act is a declaration. I choose alignment. I choose to invest where my spirit is nourished. I refuse to let misalignment drain me. Think of it like tending a fire. If a fire is left alone, it dies out. But when you add wood, when you protect it from the wind, when you tend it with care, it grows strong enough to warm a home. That is what your support does. It keeps the flame alive. Not just for you, but for every other weary soul searching for light. By sharing, by sowing, by staying connected, you become a keeper of the flame. And there is a deeper truth here. Generosity is alignment. Every time you give, whether it's attention, time, or resources, you are declaring what matters to you. Where your treasure goes, your heart follows. If you constantly invest in distractions, your energy drains. But if you invest in what feeds your soul, strength multiplies. Beloved, the weariness you feel is often an invitation to audit your life. Ask yourself, where am I leaking energy? What has God asked me to release? Where have I been resisting alignment? The answers may be uncomfortable, but they are liberating. You are not designed to live in constant depletion. You are designed to walk in divine flow. Picture yourself as a sailboat. When the sail is set against the wind, you fight endlessly, straining with every gust. But when the sail aligns with the wind, you glide effortlessly across the water. That is the difference alignment makes. Your energy no longer leaks into resistance. It flows with grace. Chosen one, the fatigue you carry is not meaningless. It is a compass. It points you back to the Father, reminding you that rest is found not in escape, but in surrender. Every sigh is an invitation. Every ache is a reminder. Every sleepless night is a knock on your soul's door. Will you open it? Will you align again? The Lord longs to tune you, to bring your life back into harmony with His will. And as you yield, your strength will return. Your energy will rise. Your tiredness will no longer be wasted. It will be transformed into testimony. So lift your eyes. Beloved, your exhaustion does not define you. Your alignment does. And as you tune yourself once more to His rhythm, you will find the music of your destiny playing clearly again, strong, steady, and unstoppable. Chosen one. There is a deeper layer to your constant tiredness, one that stretches beyond your personal struggles. You are not only carrying your own weight, you are carrying the weight of generations. You have been chosen as the one to break patterns, to end cycles, to confront ancient chains that have bound your family line for years, even centuries. This work is invisible to the eyes of others, but it presses on your soul and drains your body. Some of the fatigue you feel is not about today's troubles. It is the echo of yesterday's battles. Your ancestors may not have had the strength, the faith, or the revelation to overcome certain struggles, patterns of fear, addiction, brokenness, poverty, or rejection may have flowed through the generations unchecked. But now, The line stops with you. You are the barrier. You are the breaker. You are the one appointed to confront what others avoided. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 9. Know therefore that the Lord your God is God. He is the faithful God, keeping his covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love him and keep his commandments. This promise is your anchor. The same God who saw your ancestors' pain sees you now. He has chosen you as the vessel to turn the tide, but the cost of this assignment is heavy. It feels like invisible chains tug at you, trying to drag you backward every time you attempt to move forward. It feels like resistance rises stronger against you than against those around you. That is because you are not just living your own life, you are carrying the mandate of many lives within you. Chosen one. This is why you often feel like you are in a war you did not start. Because in truth, you are. You are confronting enemies that were comfortable in your bloodline for centuries. You are shutting doors that were left wide open. You are tearing down strongholds that your ancestors lacked the strength to dismantle. The fatigue you carry is not just from daily struggles, it is generational warfare. Think of a runner in a relay race. Each runner carries the baton. But if one grows weary and slows down, the race suffers. You are the runner who refuses to drop the baton. You have inherited the weight, but you are determined to pass on freedom instead of bondage. And that determination, though holy, takes energy. Beloved, you may wonder why your life feels harder than others, why your nights are longer, your tears heavier, your path steeper. It is because you are carrying a greater assignment. You are undoing what has stood for years. You are building foundations that will stand for generations to come. And though it drains you now, it will bless those after you. Do not despise this role. See it as a sacred trust. The fatigue you feel is a sign that you are pushing against walls that resisted for too long. Every prayer you whisper is dismantling chains. Every act of obedience is planting seeds. Every tear you shed is watering soil for future generations to flourish. Understand this, you are not fighting alone. The faithful God of covenant stands beside you. He remembers promises spoken long before you were born. Some prayers prayed by ancestors who loved him but never saw the answer are now being fulfilled through you. Their sighs, their cries, their longings, they are not lost. They are alive in your journey. That is why you are chosen, and that is why the battle feels so fierce. Yes, it is tiring. Yes, it feels unfair. But one day you will see the fruit. You will witness doors open for your children, for your descendant, for the ones who come after you, and you will know it was worth the exhaustion. You will know that your sleepless nights, your weary days, your silent groans were not wasted. They were investments into freedom. Chosen one. When the tiredness feels unbearable, remind yourself, you are carrying a legacy. Your pain is producing blessing. Your struggle is birthing strength. And though your body feels heavy, your spirit is strong enough to carry this assignment. You were not chosen to collapse under the weight. You were chosen to break it. So, lift your head, even in weariness. Let your exhaustion become prayer. Let your sighs become incense. Let your fatigue remind you that you are standing where many before you could not. You are not only living for yourself, you are living for 1,000 generations yet unborn. Chosen one. There is a reason your weariness often intensifies right when you feel closest to breakthrough. You may notice it The moment you begin to sense that something good is about to happen, your body feels heavier, your mind foggier, your heart more anxious. This is no coincidence. The closer you get to stepping into God's promises, the more the opposition rises. Fatigue is one of the enemy's greatest tools to make you give up before you see fulfillment. It is like a runner approaching the finish line. Muscles ache the most in the final stretch. Not at the beginning. Breath feels shorter. The body screams to stop. Yet the goal is only steps away. This is exactly where you are. The tiredness you feel is not proof of weakness. It is a sign you are closer than you think. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." This truth breathes life into your weariness. The waiting, the delay, the heaviness. It does not mean denial. It means alignment. What God has promised will come, and the enemy knows it. That is why fatigue rises before fulfillment. He hopes you will surrender just one step too soon. Beloved, remember this. You are tired not because you are failing, but because you are on the edge of victory. The greatest resistance comes at the door of breakthrough. The night feels darkest just before dawn. The battle rages fiercest right before peace breaks through. Your exhaustion is not random, it is strategic. Think of a woman in labor. The final moments before birth are the most painful, the most exhausting. Her body shakes. Her strength wanes. Yet the child is closer than ever. She may feel like she cannot push again. But with one final effort, life breaks forth. That is your season. You feel weary because you are birthing something holy. But here is the challenge. Will you give up before the birth? Or will you push through? The tiredness tempts you to stop, but the Spirit urges you to continue. Heaven itself is cheering you on, reminding you that what is inside you is worth every moment of fatigue. This is why I want you to declare your stance boldly. Right now, type the number 555 below. This is not about superstition. It is a prophetic act. 5 is the number of grace, and 3 5s declare triple grace. Grace to endure, grace to push through, grace to step into the promise. By writing 555, you are saying, I will not stop here. I will not let weariness win. I receive grace to finish my race. No, and as you do this, remember, grace is not the absence of tiredness. Grace is strength in the midst of it. Grace does not always take away the struggle. It empowers you to walk through it. The very fact that you are still here, still standing, still listening, even in exhaustion, proves that grace is already carrying you. Chosen one, you are closer than you think. The fatigue that threatens to break you is actually confirmation that you are at the threshold of new doors. Do not mistake resistance for defeat. It is proof of the treasure on the other side. Think of miners digging for gold. Many stop digging just inches away from the richest vein because their arms grew too tired to continue. Do not be one of them. Do not lay down your shovel now. You are closer than you realize. Keep pressing, even if it is slow, even if it feels small. Heaven counts every effort. Yes. The battle is heavy. Yes. The nights feel endless. Yes. The weight on your shoulders makes you want to collapse. But grace is multiplying, even as you read these words. Strength is rising even as you breathe. And though your body may feel like it is failing, your spirit is carrying a power that will not break. Beloved, the story is not over. The heaviness you feel today will become the testimony you carry tomorrow. The fatigue will not last forever, but the victory will. Hold on, press through, and trust that the same God who began this good work in you will carry it to completion. Chosen one. There are times when the very tiredness you feel is not from battles, not from isolation, not even from rejection, but from the hand of God Himself slowing you down. You see, exhaustion can be more than just an attack. It can be a divine intervention. The Father knows that if He allowed you to continue at the pace you were going, you would burn out, wander off track, or destroy yourself with overwork. So He allows weariness to press you into stillness. This kind of tiredness is holy. It is not meant to break you, but to realign you. You may think it is unfair that your body refuses to keep going, that your mind hits a wall, that no matter how much effort you put in, the energy simply won't come. Yet what feels like weakness is actually mercy. God is pulling you back, asking you to pause, teaching you to depend on Him rather than your own strength. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 9. But he said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me." Beloved, weakness is not the end of your story. It is the doorway to God's strength. Your exhaustion is the signal that you have reached the end of your own resources, and that is where His resources begin. You are tired because He is teaching you to stop leaning on your own wisdom, your own planning, your own striving. He is teaching you to rest in His power. Think of a child running freely in a field. At first, energy abounds, but eventually, the child stumbles, panting, too weary to continue. At that moment, a parent lifts them into their arms and carries them home. The child's weakness was the very thing that invited the embrace. That is you. Your weariness is God's invitation to let Him carry you. Sometimes you wonder why doors are not opening, why plans stall, why you feel stuck. What if this is not the enemy blocking you, but heaven slowing you? What if the tiredness you despise is the very mechanism God is using to redirect your steps? He knows the dangers ahead. He sees the traps that would have ensnared you. And so, out of love, He allows exhaustion to stop you long enough to protect you. Chosen one. Pause and consider how many times in your life what felt like delay turned out to be protection. The relationship that drained you finally ended, and in hindsight, you saw how misaligned it truly was. The opportunity that slipped through your fingers would have weighed you down with obligations you were never meant to carry. The season where you felt like nothing moved was actually the season where roots grew deeper, unseen. Fatigue was heaven's way of forcing you to rest long enough to grow. Do not despise these moments. Embrace them as training. For just as a bow must be pulled back before it can release an arrow, you too must be pulled into stillness before being launched into purpose. The pulling back feels like delay. The tension feels unbearable. But when release comes, the trajectory is unstoppable. Your tiredness, then, is not meaningless. It is redirection. It is God saying, Slow down, beloved. Trust me with the pace. Trust me with the timing. Do not force doors open by your own strength. For what I open, no one can shut. Think of a seed planted in the ground. From above, it seems as though nothing is happening. Days pass, weeks pass, and all you see is dirt. But underneath, life is stirring. Roots are forming, stretching deep into the soil, preparing for growth. That is your weariness. On the surface, it looks like inactivity, but in reality, God is establishing unseen strength. Beloved, let this truth settle. Rest is not wasted time. Weakness is not wasted space. Fatigue is not failure. These are sacred tools God uses to slow you, shape you, and strengthen you. While the world glorifies constant motion, heaven treasures holy stillness, for it is in stillness that clarity comes, peace returns, and direction is restored. So, do not resent the days when energy fails you. Instead, let them be reminders that you are not your own source. Let them teach you dependence. Let them open your heart to a strength that cannot be explained by human logic. For in your exhaustion, His power is resting on you in ways you may not even feel. Chosen one. Take courage. The fatigue you feel today may be heaven's way of shielding you, guiding you, and tuning your life back to its rightful frequency. Trust the slowdown. Trust the pause. Trust the weariness. For it is shaping you into someone who walks not in the frantic pace of the world, but in the steady rhythm of eternity. Chosen one. The truth you must hold close is that true rest does not come only from sleep or from time away. True rest flows only from the presence of God. You can lie down for 8 hours and still wake up weary. You can take a vacation, disconnect from responsibilities, and still feel drained when you return. But one moment in the presence of the Almighty can restore you in ways no earthly rest ever could. Your body longs for rest, but your soul longs for communion. The deep fatigue you carry is not only physical, it is spiritual thirst. You have tried to quench it with distractions, with conversations, with entertainment, even with silence, but nothing satisfies until you step into His presence. For in His presence, the burdens you carry lift, the anxieties quiet, the heaviness melts into peace that no words can describe. Scripture says in the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. This peace is not fragile. It is not temporary. It does not fade when life gets difficult. It is the kind of peace that remains even in the storm. This is the rest your soul longs for. And this is why your tiredness lingers until you seek Him, not because He withholds refreshment from you, but because He designed you to need Him. Think of a phone constantly drained because it is never connected to its charger. It runs out of power quickly, no matter how carefully it is used. That is you when you live disconnected from the presence of God. You pour out compassion. You fight spiritual battles. You carry burdens, but without staying plugged into the source. Your strength runs dry. Only in His presence are you recharged. Beloved, you must learn to dwell there, not just visit. His presence is not a place you come to once a week or once in crisis. It is the very atmosphere you are called to carry. When you pause to pray, when you lift your hands in worship, when you still your heart before Him, you are stepping into a river that never runs dry. And that river washes away exhaustion in ways no natural rest can. Yes, your body still needs sleep. Yes, your mind still needs moments of pause. But these alone cannot heal the weariness of your soul. Only God's presence can. That is why, even after long hours of rest, you may still feel heavy because your spirit is starving for what only He provides. Think of Elijah under the broom tree, exhausted and ready to give up. He lay down, overwhelmed, until an angel touched him and said, "Get up and eat." Twice, he was fed with heavenly bread, and the strength from that meal carried him 40 days and nights. That is the power of divine refreshment. It does more than sleep ever could. It sustains you in supernatural ways. Chosen one, you cannot keep pouring without being filled. You cannot keep fighting without being refreshed. The strength you long for will not come by pushing harder, but by surrendering deeper. Your soul is like dry ground, and His presence is the rain. Let yourself be watered again. Do not believe the lie that time in His presence is wasted. The world may tell you to keep working, keep striving, keep running, but heaven whispers, "Be still, and know that I am God." Stillness is not laziness, it is alignment. It is the sacred pause that restores strength, clarity, and peace. Beloved, your exhaustion is not forever. The same God who invites you into His presence promises to renew you there. Do not resist His call. When you feel the heaviness pressing in, when you cannot bear another step, when your body aches and your mind spins, step into His presence. Even a few whispered words can open the floodgates. "Father, I need you." Anjali. And in that moment, you will find what no amount of sleep could ever give. You will find peace that guards your heart, joy that lifts your spirit, and strength that rises within you like the dawn. This is the rest your soul craves. This is the rest your destiny requires. Chosen one, you are not meant to live weary forever. You are meant to walk in a rhythm of grace, moving from strength to strength, refreshed in the secret place. Your tiredness is real, but so is His promise. Rest in Him, and you will discover that what once drained you no longer has power to break you. For His presence is your refuge, your strength, your restoration. Chosen one, though fatigue may cling to you like a cloak, there is a promise greater than your weariness: supernatural renewal. The Word of God declares that those who wait on Him will rise on wings like eagles. But renewal is not merely poetic, it is real. And it is available for you. You were not designed to stay weary forever. You were designed to be refilled, reshaped, and relaunched. Think of the eagle itself. When it grows old, its feathers become heavy, its beak dull, its talons brittle. The eagle retreats to a high place, a mountain where it strips itself of the old and waits for renewal. It plucks feathers, sharpens its beak against stone, and endures a painful season of transformation. Yet when renewal comes, the eagle does not crawl, it soars higher than before. That is the destiny of your spirit. Renewal is not the absence of pain, it is the fruit of perseverance. The ancient words recorded in the book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 29, declare, He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Chosen one, your weariness is not permanent. God is not blind to your fatigue. He is preparing to breathe strength into your very bones. What the world drains, restores. What the battles strip away, He rebuilds. What rejection and warfare leave broken, He heals with His hand. But here is where your part matters. Just as the eagle must retreat to the mountain, you too must make space for renewal. Renewal does not happen when you run endlessly. It happens when you step back, when you surrender, when you lift your hands and say, I cannot keep going unless you restore me. That posture opens the door for supernatural strength. And while you wait, you are not waiting in vain. Renewal comes in layers. A whisper of peace here, a burst of joy there, a moment of revelation in the midst of silence. Piece by piece, God rebuilds what fatigue has stripped away. You begin to notice it, the heaviness slowly lifting, your perspective sharpening, your hope returning. This is why your engagement matters more than you realize. When you like this message, it is not just a click, it is you saying, this resonates with me. I receive this truth. When you share it, you are passing a cup of cold water to another weary soul. When you subscribe, you are choosing to stay connected to a flow that refreshes your spirit. And when you donate, you are planting seeds into fertile soil that will multiply far beyond what you see. Think of it like a well. If you draw water and never replenish it, the well runs dry. But when many pour into it, when they tend it, when they guard its depth, it overflows and becomes a spring that never ceases. That is what your support does. It keeps the well flowing. Not just for you, but for countless others who are thirsty for renewal. Beloved, imagine a lantern in the night. If one person carries it, the circle of light is small. But if many bring their candles and join them together, the darkness flees, and the path becomes clear for multitudes. Your small act of support, your comment, your gift, your share is a candle added to the flame. Together, we create a blaze strong enough to guide the weary home. Now, I invite you to leave a comment with your voice. Speak from your heart in just a sentence or two. Your words might be the encouragement another chosen one needs to read tonight. You never know who is scrolling, weary and broken, needing a reminder that they are not alone. Your voice carries weight. Your story matters. And your courage to speak may spark renewal in someone else's life. Remember this, renewal is not only about receiving, it is also about giving. The more you pour out in alignment with God's will, the more He fills you. The more you support what builds His kingdom, the more He strengthens your weary hands. The tiredness you feel today can become the testimony you share tomorrow. So, beloved, do not see yourself only as someone waiting for strength. See yourself as someone rising into it, step by step. Like the eagle shedding what is old, you are being prepared for flight again. Your weariness is not the end of the story, it is the beginning of a chapter of soaring. And as you rise, your story, your support, your very presence will help countless others rise with you. Chosen one. Here is a truth that may change the way you see your constant exhaustion. Your tiredness itself is prophetic proof. It is not just a symptom of battles, not just the consequence of empathy. not only the result of isolation or sleepless nights. It is a sign, a divine marker stamped upon your life. The very fact that you feel this weight so deeply is confirmation that you are not ordinary, you are chosen. Many people move through life untouched by spiritual warfare. They sleep, they laugh, they live in shallowness, unaware of deeper realities. But you cannot. You feel the heaviness because you are tuned to a frequency others do not hear. You feel drained because your presence confronts darkness without your permission. You walk in a mantle that does not allow casual living. Your fatigue is not weakness, it is evidence that you carry the mark of destiny. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. That verse is not a mere comfort, it is your identity. You feel the weight, but fear does not define you. Weariness presses against you, but power resides in you. Your tiredness tries to cloud your clarity, but a sound mind remains your inheritance. If you were not chosen, the battles would not rage this fiercely. If you were not marked, the enemy would not pursue you so relentlessly. Your exhaustion is proof of your calling. Think of a warrior returning from battle. His armor is dented, his body bruised, his stride slower. To the untrained eye, he looks broken, but to those who know war, his scars are proof of victory. That is you. Your tiredness is not evidence of failure. It is evidence that you have been in the fight. You are not weary because you are weak. You are weary because you are a warrior. Beloved, this is why your story matters. The struggles you carry, the sleepless nights, the heaviness of empathy, the sting of rejection, these are not meaningless. They are holy proof that you are walking the narrow path. Others may dismiss your exhaustion, but heaven recognizes it as testimony. Every sigh you breathe is incense before the throne. Every tear you shed is a seed in the soil of eternity. Every weary step you take is a declaration, I have not given up. I am still chosen. Your tiredness itself is prophetic because it reminds you that you cannot walk this road without Him. It forces you to lean on grace. It humbles you into dependence. It draws you nearer to the source. If you never felt weak, you would never know His strength. If you never grew weary, you would never taste His renewal. Think of a candle burning through the night. Its wax melts. Its flame flickers. Yet it continues to shine. At dawn, the candle is smaller, but it has fulfilled its purpose. It has carried light through the darkness. That is your life. The fatigue you feel is not loss, it is fulfillment. You are burning for a reason greater than yourself. Chosen one, understand this. Even your tiredness preaches. It tells the world that there is a cost to carrying light. It shows others that following God does not mean ease, but it does mean purpose. Your weariness tells a story louder than your words ever could. It is the testimony of endurance, of faith that keeps going even when strength runs low. Beloved, let this truth settle in your heart. Do not see your tiredness only as an obstacle. See it as evidence. See it as a badge of honor. See it as a prophetic sign that you are chosen, called, and set apart. You are not drained because you are weak. You are drained because you are impactful. The greater the calling, the heavier the weight. And the fact that you still stand, still believe, still press forward, even in weariness, proves the Spirit of God sustains you. So lift your head, even in fatigue. Your tiredness is not shameful, it is sacred. It is the echo of your calling, the proof of your chosenness, the testimony that heaven has marked you. And one day, you will look back and realize that every weary step was not wasted. It was the path of destiny. And the weight you carried was the seal that confirmed you were always chosen. Chosen one. Though fatigue has followed you like a shadow, though your body has bent under the weight of battles unseen, though your nights have been long and your days heavy, hear this final truth. The tiredness is temporary, but the crown is eternal. You are not walking toward endless exhaustion, you are walking toward glory. Every weary step you take is bringing you closer to the fulfillment of what God promised. You have felt as though life has drained you, stripping away your strength, leaving you fragile. But just as the olive must be crushed to release oil, you too have been pressed so that anointing could flow. Your weariness has not been wasted, it has produced something sacred within you. The heaviness has carved out space for heaven's glory to dwell. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 10, "Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Beloved, your weariness has been part of your persecution. Not persecution in the sense of visible chains or public scorn alone, but in the silent weight of being misunderstood, in the loneliness of being set apart, in the draining battles only you seem to fight. Yet even in this, you are blessed, for the kingdom of heaven is your inheritance. Think of a runner collapsing at the finish line. Their body aches, their lungs burn, sweat pours down, yet the medal is placed on their chest. No one remembers the struggle as defeat, they remember it as proof of endurance. That will be your testimony. The crown awaiting you will outshine every sleepless night, every weary morning, every heavy sigh. You may not see it now, but heaven already does. Angels have recorded your prayers, your tears, your sacrifices. The Father has seen the times you pressed forward when your body screamed to stop. He has seen the moments you whispered His name in weakness, and He has prepared a reward that will outweigh every ounce of exhaustion you have ever carried. Chosen one. The crown does not erase the weariness, it redeems it. The glory to come will not deny your struggle, but will transform it into testimony. Just as scars remain on healed skin, your story of fatigue will remain, not as shame, but as evidence of what you overcame. Think of a field after harvest. The soil looks torn, furrowed, spent, yet from those wounds, abundance has been gathered. That is your life. You may feel depleted, but what has been produced through your struggle is eternal fruit, faith, endurance, compassion, strength. And though your body may one day return to dust, your crown will remain forever. Beloved, take comfort in this. The tiredness you feel today will not follow you into eternity. Scripture promises that in heaven there will be no more tears, no more sorrow, no more pain. Rest éternel awaits you. But even here, on this earth, there will be moments when the weariness lifts, when you taste the joy of victory, when you glimpse the crown that is already yours. You are not forgotten in your fatigue. You are not abandoned in your heaviness. You are carried, even now, by the one who bore the cross. And just as he wore a crown of thorns before wearing a crown of glory, so too will your suffering give way to honor. Chosen one, let this truth anchor you every sleepless night, every lonely hour. Every drained moment has been shaping you for the crown. You are not wasting away, you are being prepared. And though the world may never understand the weight you carried, heaven will honor it openly. So walk on, even weary. Lift your eyes, even tired, for what awaits you is greater than what weighs you. The crown of glory will outshine the heaviness of every night you endured. And when that moment comes, you will see clearly. The tiredness was never in vain. Chosen one, this journey has brought you through every layer of your weariness, from invisible battles, to sleepless nights, to rejection, to divine pauses. You have seen why fatigue has clung to your soul. Yet through it all, one truth remains unshaken. You are chosen. Your tiredness has never been a sign of failure, but a sign of destiny. The weight you carry proves that you are trusted with battles others cannot fight. The tears you cry prove that your heart is aligned with heaven. The rejection you endure proves that you are set apart. And the very exhaustion that feels like it might break you is actually shaping you for unshakable glory. Remember this always. Weakness is not the end. It is the place where God's strength shines brightest. Weariness is not defeat. It is evidence that you are still moving forward, still fighting, still enduring. And though you may feel tired all the time, heaven sees you as unstoppable. Take courage. The crown awaiting you will make sense of every sleepless night, every weary sigh, every step that felt too heavy. Your story is not one of endless exhaustion, it is one of victory. You will rise, you will endure, you will wear the crown. Chosen one, rest in his presence, draw strength from his promises, and never forget, the tiredness is temporary, but the glory is eternal.